Hey guys, Abner Miranda here. Today we're going to be looking at the 4 different ways to get your weapon back in battery. When I say back in battery, what I mean is with the slide locked in a forward position ready to shoot. There are essentially 5 ways to get your pistol back in battery. I'm going to show you all 5 of those, and then I'm going to show you my one favorite way to do this. And I think once you see it, you're going to appreciate it. Today I'm going to be shooting Black Hills Ammunition 9mm 115 grain full metal jacket. For this drill, what I like to do is take a box of 9mm, 20 rounds, and I dump it into my pocket. I stick a mostly loaded mag into my Bravo Concealment single mag carrier. It holds a mag and a light. On this side, I've got a Bravo Concealment RTT holster. It does a great job of concealing my pistol and keeping it upright so that it takes the least amount of space if I want to add other things to my belt later. The other reason that I run this rig is that when I go to tactical classes, this is the rig that I run. What I don't want to get accustomed to is running an appendix carry, because appendix carry is really nice for concealment. The problem with appendix carry is unless you're going to run it at a class, your appendix carry is going to become a problem. When you go to a class, you're going to burn the most amount of reps at that class. So you're going to be accustomed to doing this and getting your pistol out of here. Then you get into a gunfight. You go to Walmart one day to go grocery shopping. You get into a gunfight and you go like this and there's nothing there. And now you've got to remember to go like this to get your pistol out, because your daily carry is a different gun here. When you go to a class, your class carry is a Glock 17 tricked out with your RMR and all your tactical guru stuff, and you've got it on the side on a war belt. If you've got a full kit that you want to wear, cool. But do yourself the favor, say either the first day or the last day. I would actually say the last day. The last day of a 2-day or a 3-day class, go to class like this. Have a throwaway shirt, because these are $80 shirts, but have a throwaway shirt that faithfully mimics your cover garment. Something you can roll around in the gravel with, that if you get holes in it, you're not going to cry about it. So have a cheap shirt that you can wear, your concealment garment, so you get accustomed to throwing your shirt back, getting your pistol out, getting around corners, knowing that when you reach, your shirt's going to bind a certain way on your arms. That's why when you guys see me out here in videos, many times I'm usually wearing about the same thing. Okay, like I said before, there are 5 different ways to get a pistol from a locked open position back in battery. The first one is the obvious, it's the absolute gimme. Ironically, it's the last one that I see people going to. I've been at classes where people are wrecking their pistol off the sidewalk, where they're wrecking it off their duty belt, they're wrecking it off their boot, their belt, so on and so forth. Let me show that to you again for those of you that somehow managed to miss it. Oh, look at that. Huh. Now, I understand I've done a lot, not just a little bit. I've done a lot of injured shooter training. And the one thing that is so often missed in injured shooter training is I see guys trying to figure out a way to get this slide to go home, and all they've really got to do is do that. For those of you that are wrong-handed like I am, okay, this one is a little less operationally optimal for the lefties, because we have to come off grip. We have to insert our thumb at the back of the frame to get this index finger to get into the position where it needs to be. But here's an option. You tuck your pistol, stick your mag in, get a proper grip on that pistol, and you can go like that. Or you can hook it up there and do that hard. You can do it if you train yourself to do it. One of the reasons why it's easier for me to do is I have a Vickers tactical slide catch. If you don't have one, get one. You'll like it. Seriously, you'll like it. The second one is going to be the Glock style, and it's basically over the top, and it looks like this. Very simple. And by the way, before I go into the third one, this is where those 20 rounds in your pocket come in handy. This is the mag that I dropped on the ground. The pistol has one in the chamber from having been loaded. So now I do a tactical reload, which is also part of this drill. I store the mostly full mag back in my holder, throw the cover garment back over it. Once again, verify that I've got one in the chamber, and now I have one in the chamber, 2 in the mag. And I'm down 2 rounds in my pocket, so I'm now working into my reps. This next one is slingshot, and it looks like this. Now, you'll notice that so far the ones that I've shown you aren't particularly slow. You know, slide catch works fine, Glock style works fine, slingshot works fine. Slingshot can either be done this way, which is kind of awkward, or it's typically done this way. Now we get into the last two that I find are very, very fast. The next one is known as over the top. All right, you'll notice that that load is a dramatic leap forward in speed to the first three that you've seen, which is slide stop, Glock style, slingshot. The actual effect that you get from doing this loading style is really, truly a quantum leap forward. I'm going to do this slower so you can appreciate it. Weapon goes empty, mag out, mag in, you go over the top, a slight little pinch, and the weapon gets in battery. The motion is essentially this, and I'm going to do it at full speed. Very fast. This is, to me, this is about the 100% fix to getting your slide back in. It is the most consistent of the five, and it is the one least likely to give you a malfunction. The last one is my favorite. I call it free lunch. And I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Pretty self-explanatory. The reason that I like free lunch, it is hands down the fastest of the 5 reloads. Now, you can see there's one in the chamber. The reason that I showed you that is you don't always get one in the chamber with free lunch. Free lunch is quick, but free lunch is prone to accidents, or is prone to errors, and here's why. For the lefties, this portion of your trigger finger rides right here on top of the slide catch. I'm going to show this to you with an empty mag to show you how effective this is. Now, the problem with this is, I'm going to load one round in here, and I'll see if I can do it. The problem with free lunch is, should you end up hooking the back portion of the round here when you're shoving it in, first of all, well, okay, if you hook the back portion of the round, you could do that and, you know, you bump and you start clearing and you do one of these. You think you're home, you finish the action, you bring the pistol up and you go. One of two things happens. First of all, you get a nice clean trigger press and your muzzle doesn't dip, or you get that and then you have to tap rack to get a round in and then, you know, shoot that round. But what happens is you dip your muzzle and the buddies on the range go, ah, you dipped your muzzle, and they're all over you like stink on a monkey. The other more realistic problem in the real world is you think you've got one in the chamber, but you actually don't. So that's why free lunch requires a lot of practice. For the righties, it's the same exact problem. You ride that finger up there on the slide catch and you go to get this in there, and if you do this too hard, coming in at an angle, you can accidentally do that and before your mag has actually seated. And, you know, in slow motion here, you're thinking to yourself, well, that's kind of goofy. I would know. You think you would know. Understand, I'm telling you this out of experience. I thought I knew. I said to myself, oh yeah, man, I'll know that. I'll know when I've got one in. I'll know when I don't have one in. But the fact is, on many occasions, I didn't have one in the chamber, and I got in trouble. So trying this technique, you have to practice with this. All right, I know some of you are wondering why free lunch. It's really simple. Some police officers, I used to be a cop, some police officers like to, how should I say, indulge in the free lunches that are offered to them by restaurant managers. And when you get accustomed to that, it gets you in trouble. The reason this is free lunch is you do this over and over and over on the range and you get one in the chamber. But if you don't actually have the mechanics of this properly really locked down to know that that finger has to go high and it cannot move, for those of you righties, it's here. Unless you're training to plant that finger hard up here, not pushing down, just planting it hard, so that when that mag goes home, that slide goes forward and you grab around. Unless you practice, you're going to get accustomed to your free lunge and that one time where you really need it for real, not this environment with plastic targets, but that real environment where someone's really after you. And your hands are so accustomed to going for that free lunge. Unless you know what you're doing, you're going to get in trouble. That free lunge is going to embarrass you or potentially get you killed. So understand that free lunge is the absolute fastest way to get a gun back up in the fight. But you have to practice. That's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that you guys have been able to learn something from this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. As always, God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.